Hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome to the open mic night of Eitzos Amevoras. Rabbi Wise, I muted you by mistake, but you can unmute yourself should you wish to. We're continuing with the text that is dealing with Emes Ve'emuna. Just one. Emes and Emuna, this two opposites which actually make one whole. So we're holding by Sif Tes 9. It says as follows: it is not allowed to any person to accept upon himself the role of a leader. That's which Olam call a Gita Yid, in other words, a Rebbe, unless his emuna is complete and true. But if he believes chas v'shalom in things that Midei Chater is not one is not allowed to believe in, even though he believes also in Hashem Yisborach, he is forbidden to lead because of his false opinions. From here we learn that anybody who has false emunas, he not only not allowed to be the leader of other people, he's also not allowed to be his own leader. I mean, if you know that you have any kind of superstitions, that means that not only you cannot tell other people what to do, but you need to seek someone to lead you. It's a very, very important nakuda here. Because what it means is it's forbidden for him to decide. I mean, it's not an easy thing, but nevertheless, it's for him to decide and to behave according to his opinions, according to his svaras, because they're false, they're not true. And even when it seems to him that he's only looking for the benefit of the people, and that's the reason why he wants to lead, he has compassion for the world and he wants to lead them. He may think, he may be convinced. That's the reason why, he wants to lead. But the truth is that he's actually aiming for his own covet and for pride. And when one is like this, one is forbidden to accept any position of leadership. And the reason for it is because for following such leaders, people get to apicorsis. But min hashamayim, people don't leave the leadership in the hands of such people for a long time. In Sif Yud, the next one, it says the person has to be very, very careful to preserve the emunah. What does it mean? To check yourself. If your emunah is complete. And the reason why this is so critical, because by kilkul emunah, in other words, the emunah gets corrupted, it's not possible to receive teichecha, to receive admonishment from mochichei emes, for people who can really admonish. That, as we learn in Torah Ches Chalek Beis on Thursdays, that Zeicha to the Pchinas Kol HaMochiach Be'emes, that's a spiritual quality of Chesed in the voice. And whenever it is that somebody acquires that quality in his voice, when he admonishes other people, he actually makes them feel better about themselves. The main purpose of teichecha, the main purpose of rebuking, is to bring people closer, not to push people away. And when the emunah gets corrupted by a person, it's not possible for him to receive rebuke from mochichei emes, and that causes, an altercation. It breaks down the peace, and it ends up causing all kinds of machlokes between people, and people have to leave their places and live in other places. And not only that, through chisar damuna, a person can also come to heresies, avodah and false amunas, superstitions, because the true amuna is the supernal seal of the kedusha. When a person has a pure and complete amuna, his entire sanctity as a Jew is being preserved and being protected. And Tzifid Aleph, he's saying, he repeats what we said already before, that it's not possible to receive such a complete amuna unless you get closer to the true tzaddik ador and be mekayim their aces and accept their opinion with all your strengths and do it be'emes. Because the main emuna, the completion, the perfection of emuna, is being inserted by tzaddikei emes and the people who are close to them. When you are mekayim their aces, because the tzaddikei emes, they they are the quote unquote the isness of the sanctity of Am Yisrael. All right. The stage is open. What's in your mind?
Are you saying, Rabbi, that if your emunah is incomplete or not pure, that you're not open to rebuke, that you won't accept rebuke? Is that one of the points you were making?
Yeah, you will not. It's as the it's some Avros. He explains that it is not possible to receive the rebuke from the true admonishers. This is based on Torah Chaf Beis, Torah 22 in the first chelik of the Gemara. And Rabbeinu starts over there by explaining that a Kodesh Baruch Hu has his own inner cabinet, as they say, uh, that allow that these are tzadikei emes, mochichei ador, the Kodesh Baruch Hu, they are the advisors of the Kodesh Baruch Hu. They give the Kodesh Baruch Hu advice services.
Okay.
And Kodesh Baruch Hu consults with them and lets them know when there are laleinu dinim and bad verdicts on the generation. And their job, the Rebbe says in Terech of Base, their job is twofold, and it's contradictory. In other words, one job that they have is they have to go ahead and warn Am Yisrael, to come, to come back and do, what's right. On the other hand, the other job that they have is they have to be very careful to conceal the fact that dinim and verdicts are hovering over the Jewish nation, because if the Sitra Achra, the side of the Tumah, will discover that, they will take the actual news that there are dinim and will degrade those dinim and turn it, instead of being a din Torah, to becoming a cruel din. Meaning, din Torah. Why is the din Torah b'shamayim when the Jews don't do what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants? The kavana is that people should correct their ways and come back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The whole idea is to bring people close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But when the din is being corrupted, in other words, somebody is letting people know incognito, an undignified source, unrecognized source, whatever, unidentified source, whatever, leaks out information that should not be leaked out. That enables those who are really against the whole endeavor to go, aha, all right. And then they say, so the dinim, and what they do is they make it worse. And the rebuke, which is supposed to be a way to get people closer to Kodesh Baruch Hu, to leave their bad ways, becomes a rebuke of cruelty, a rebuke of animosity, a rebuke that make people hate themselves. And as a result, they're driven away from Kodesh Baruch Hu. So here you have the Mochichei Emes, the true admonishings, have to do, the same thing and its opposite. At the same time, to reveal the Dadinim, otherwise, what are you reading about? And at the same time, they need to conceal the fact that they are dinim so the Sitra Achra won't find out about it and make it worse. So comes the question of how can it be done? On one hand, if they don't rebuke, the people won't come closer to Kodesh Baruch Hu. And if they reveal the fact that they are dinim, people should be careful, it can make matters worse. The Sitra Achra can make a matter worse. So what's the solution? The solution is the preparation from the the solution is that the people who are receiving the rebuke, which means us, we have to prepare ourselves to accept rebuke, to be open to hear rebuke, not just any rebuke. We understand that what's going on here is that this rebuke is done under the cover of secrecy. Sitracha is not allowed to know that there are dinim present. So the rebuke is therefore being said and being given in a concealed manner. It's inferred, it's hinted. Now, unless you have emunah, especially emunah tzaddikim, I mean, you won't suspect that anything is remiss. I mean, nobody told you anything. But if you have emunah tzaddikim, when you come to your rabbi, and your rabbi tells you, you know, you're not speaking properly. Your language is it's not a language that befit, you know, a proper Jew. You're not saying chas v'chalila shum davar, nothing. But maybe you're being playful. Maybe you're being. And it tells you don't do that. If you don't have a emunah tzaddikim in him, you can think, well, you know, it's just being curmudgeon-y, you know, just being a sourpuss. I mean, I am who I am. But if you have emunah tzaddikim in him, when he tells you this, you start searching for yourself. What kind of improper speech am I exposed to? Or what do I say not to him, but to others that I shouldn't be saying? It become even more subtle. I mean, the more emunah tzaddikim you have, the more subtle the admonishment can be. I mean, just, you know, taking an example out of, you know, midair. Let's say that you are going to a tish with you know, with your Rebbe every time, and you know that he's very makpid, he's very particular. You know, it's well, you know, by many Rebbes, these things are like almost like, you know, precise this ceremonial precision. You know, the salt is here, and this is here, and this is here. And suddenly your Rebbe is taking, let's say, the salt shaker and puts it on the left side. Okay. So he did it. So what? It all depends on the depth, the profundity of the emunah that you have, the tzaddikim that you have in it. If you believe, the more you believe that whatever in your contact with him, you're not looking for him. You're looking for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're not looking for his opinion, personal opinion. You want to know what Rabbeinu wants to tell you. When you approach your relationship with him in such a way, he becomes the emissary of the tzaddik emes. He becomes the emissary of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Whether he knows it or not. And when you see something which is unusual, you will realize there's a message here from me. What are you supposed to do? Check your emunah. It's very subtle, but it enables a teichecho, to reveal the teichecho and to conceal it at the same time. Because if you don't have that kind of emunah, nothing happened. I don't know. He told you something, how you're speaking, or you're not speaking, or putting the salt shaker here or there, doesn't make any difference. But if you have emunah tzaddikim, you're open to much subtler messages, much subtler teichachom that is open to you because you have emunah, but it's concealed from everybody else because the Sitracha doesn't have emunah tzaddikim. Okay?
If I can tell you something now, my son-in-law told something over at the Shabbos table, and I've just been thinking that this might be a proper place to bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
He heard somebody in shul giving some strong opinions about. I don't want to go too much into the exact thing he was saying, but they were frightening what he was saying, and to these young boys, and all of them were like macabbling it, shaking their heads, yes, yes, yes. But what he was saying was frightening statements about the way we should react to secular Jews and their attitudes towards kratom, and my son-in-law took him on full force. He took him on head on, and I was just thinking, Rabbi, that someone who's so enmeshed in his beliefs, so certain of his beliefs, and they were beliefs that were so scary that taking him on head on, you wouldn't get anywhere. That you have to go through the back door. You have to kind of find a place where he's soft and open and vulnerable, and just touch that part of him, and that he might then, be more open, or be more accessible to hearing, what the dangers of what he's teaching to others. I'm talking in general terms, but I don't know if you can get a picture of what I'm talking about. But
Yeah, but I have a question for you.
yes.
In this rebuttal that you're describing, who are you trying to rescue? The people who are listening to him, or that person himself?
Oh, well, I wasn't the one that was giving, that was opposing him, but I think I would probably, I think I'd be trying to go to the leader, the one who was who was preaching these these false ideas or these very, very extreme ideas. I would try to reach him. I think that would be that's who I was thinking I was trying to reach. If I was going to suggest something to my son-in-law as to how to deal with the situation, I would say approach him in an indirect way, not in a direct way, not a frontal attack, but a sort of from the behalf from the back.
Uh, I hear what you're saying. Truth be told, I can't really convey uh, an intelligent opinion on this
Uh-huh.
because you know things differ. Situations differ. If somebody's standing up there and saying heresy, you just stand up and bludgeon him.
You what?
You stand up and you bludgeon him verbally, so that
Uh-huh.
other people will not learn from him.
I see.
There's no place for niceties.
I see.
On the other hand, on the other hand, if it's not heresy, just like Deus Coisius, just like false opinions. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and you know that he is not going to accept. And the people that listen to him, if you will confront him head on, will just side with him. Then yeah, it makes more sense, to reach him, you know, from behind, as it were, because then when you influence him, you influence all those who are following him.
I hear.
But the
Uh-huh.
the the the, the gist of what I'm saying is that it's not a one size fit all situation.
Uh-huh.
It all depends, It's like at least that's what I can see.
Okay, I can understand what you're saying.
It makes sense to you?
Yes, it does. It does.
Well, the one of the things that I find, so um so biting, so incisive, so crucial and surprising is that okay, I can accept the general rule that people that don't have 100% pure, clean amuna should not accept upon themselves to lead others, okay? Because eventually it's going to lead to trouble. But the fact that he's saying, don't even accept leadership upon yourself, this is a whole different level because usually when I look at myself and I do things, I behave, I I don't look at it as me leading myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm just behaving. You know what I mean?
Go ahead. Continue.
And so he is he's opening here a door to a whole different way of looking at my conduct and realizing that I'm also, as it were, am comprised of a leader and a follower. And if my emunah is not complete, I should really, really find out, somebody whose emunah is complete and listen to him and forego my own opinion about myself.
Mm, mm.
I mean, I will still make mistakes. I will still, make infractions that are liable to get me into trouble. But it's like there's always a place to come back to, And Yom Kippur, when we mention all the korbanos and the musafim and all the, so one of the korbanos that we are asking for in Yom Kippur is entering Beis Hamikdash in a state of impurity. And you can think like, talking about Yom Kippur, I mean, there's like, I have nothing else to ask for but forgiveness on entering Beis Hamikdash in a state of impurity. I mean, there's no Beis Hamikdash. I have many, many things, to fix before I get to, asking for kapara for getting into Beis Hamikdash in a state of impurity. So years ago, I heard a word, very, very good word from friend years ago, and he said the Mikdash represents your ideal, represents the ultimate truth. Don't soil, don't water down your Beis Hamikdash. What happens with you, the kind of transgressions that you fall into, the kind of mistake of judgments that you do, they're all fixable if the ideal remains pure and absolute and complete. The minute you enter that Beis Hamikdash, your own temple, your own sanctus sanctum, and you insert impurity into there, maybe maybe this is okay. Also, it changes your entire perspective. You will never ever come back to the true emes because you have contaminated it. It's no longer your temple. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's very deep what you're saying. Wow. I can follow it, but it's very deep.
Baruch Hashem.
You have to be constantly vigilant, and really honest with yourself. It's not so easy. Not so easy.
That's right. The best thing that you can do is really to come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and lay it, put it on the line, lay it out, just put it on the line. So
Yes, yes.
that, you know other way to do it, really. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way, it's the only way you can do that. Okay. Bezat Hashem, all these limudim akdoshim will be latzlocha of entire Israel, and all the soldiers that are risking their lives, Latevas Am Israel,
Oh man.
full shlema, bria shlema, and health for all those who need it. To Rachel, Baskal, and Selma, and all the entire Am Israel. And Bezat Hashem should be zoche to see miracles and salvation and deliverance, B'ezrat Hashem, really soon in our days.
Amen.
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 Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem.